Coming at you out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, more specifically the great neighborhood of Oakland. It's Record Talk, where we talk about music and so much more. And we're back, Dylan. We took a break last
Yeah,
week. Life stuff occurred, and you know what? That's the point of Orb is that it's pretty lax, and we can kind of do whatever we want. And so, us skipping a week isn't the end of the world. We're sorry to all of our very loyal supporters. And fun fact, analytically, Record Talk is the best doing show in terms of views. So we have to keep that up, Dylan.
it's because
So
of
no
me.
more weeks off. But
Because I'm
are
here.
you? It's because you're here. Genuinely, it's crazy. I think it is you. But are you happy to be back, or were you happy to have a week off? How do you feel about that?
No, I am so happy to be back. I was really sad to have a week off. I mean, we needed it, but um the whole entire week I was like, let's do it today. Let's do it today. Let's do it today. And yeah, I get very excited for these episodes. And we already have the next ideas for like the next four episodes. Like I'm so eager to get them all cranked out.
Really tempting to just do it all today, but unfortunately, I mean, we both have other duties to go
Yeah.
to, which is so unfortunate. Maybe if anyone were to fund the show, we can do this like 4 times a week. Um, but that's what I'm saying. This is an official call for someone to sponsor us. But you know what? I don't think we're there yet. That's okay. But it is really
KFC.
exciting. What?
KFC could sponsor us.
UFC could. I got a $30 gift card that I haven't been able to spend on you in a long time.
Oh, wait, okay. Yeah, you have the one from my sister, and then you also have the one that's mine that I just forgot.
Do?
Yeah, the one that your grandma got me.
Oh, shoot. Okay, I guess I have two.
Yeah,
Um,
because you have yours from my sister, and then you have mine.
so I have like $50 worth of KFC in my wallet right now, I guess. Well, that's interesting. But yeah, if KFC wants to sponsor us or Chipotle, I'll take either or. I'll take
Literally,
anything.
my breakfast this morning was the chocolate KFC bundt cake.
I saw you eating it.
Yeah.
My breakfast was mac and cheese. See, we
Yeah.
don't eat very healthy on this podcast, unfortunately.
Mm, yeah, I don't think we should ever talk about my diet choices.
That's okay. We'll get there one day where all we're gonna eat is the best food possible. But not right now. Not
Yeah,
right now. But yeah, no, I'm really excited to be back.
me
And
too.
I mean, to bring it away from the show, there's so many fun things that is happening through Orb right now. There's collaborations happening. There's very special guests coming on this week's episode of The Breakdown, and next week. And we have so many fun ideas that we are cooking up. So everyone listening to this, stay tuned and Record Talk as well. We're always trying to make it better. We hope to one day implement a visual element to this show. It's just difficult with Zoom, and I get Zoom through the University of Pittsburgh. I don't even know if that's really an option to have a video element. So that's just the way
Yeah,
it works.
for my one architecture class, we were actually assigned to like watch a video. Um, and it was basically a podcast style show on Zoom, and they just recorded their Zoom screens, and the way that it was presented was just they were right next to each other. The only problem, because I was thinking about that before we actually started the episode, I was thinking about like how we could record our Zoom. The only problem is my camera quality is really not good. And as much as I want there to be a visual element, I kind of love that I don't really have to care about what I look like as I'm talking.
Yeah.
Um, but you know, I would get used to it.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about that before. I was like, do I even brush my hair before I get on here? Compared to the breakdown where there's like three separate angles on me. Uh, and like I have to look presentable. Like I try to put on like a nice sweater or something before that, so I look half decent. But you know, see, that's what's nice about Record Talk. It's more chillax. We get to talk about whatever compared to hard hitting news on the breakdown. But we've been yapping and yammering. Wink, wink, Dylan. Wink, wink. Uh, about nonsense. And I'm interested to get into this episode for real because it's a good one. I think this is going to be
Yeah.
a really good one. There's tons of good conversations that we can have. And next week, I'm really excited for next week. Uh, like I
Yes.
want to get into that now, but we
Me
can't.
too.
We can't because one of the segments hasn't even happened yet. And we'll tease what that's going to be at the end of the episode, so you have to listen through it in full to hear why we're so excited. But let's get into Orb's radar, which is our little fancy way of saying we're just going to talk about new releases, music news, and controversies. So, new little segment next to Is It Really That Bad? So, we got multiple segments in the show, reoccurring segments, I should say. And this week, or recently, I should say, Harry Styles' new single, Aperture, we're going to be looking at that first. And it's off the album Kiss all the time, disco occasionally. And when he first dropped, a lot of people were hating on that title because there's like a period and a comma in there. It's a sentence. It's a full structured paragraph, honestly, at this point. And what are your thoughts on the name? Is it bad, good, weird? Like what do you think of the name?
I honestly was so unfazed. I didn't even realize that people would be bothered by that. I I I really like this is probably gonna sound so like weird and intellectual, but I really like the process of having to name things. Um, like especially artistic things, because when you name something, in my opinion, it gives someone almost a little bit of bias, like already just based on the name alone, whether they realize it or not, they have like an internalized expectation of what it's going to be, and then they see if it meets that expectation or not. And so I always found it really hard because like I've been in a few different like art competitions, and they'd always tell me like, what's the name of your piece, what's the name of your piece, and I could never come up with a name because I didn't want the name that I chose to affect anybody's way of viewing it. I wanted everybody to view it just naturally as it was. um so yeah, it just really doesn't phase me, I guess. And a lot of the artists that I listen to, some of the names that they name their songs are pure nonsense, and it genuinely means nothing, and it's just there like as a filler. Um, so yeah, I really didn't realize that that would be an area of controversy.
See, as like a journalism major, I think obviously headlines are like one of the most important aspects of an article. And that kind of it gives you the first presentation of what it's going to be. And whenever I first heard the name Kiss All the Time Disco Occasionally, I was like, man, this is gonna be a pop album. Like
Yeah, yeah,
that's the
definitely. That's what I
expectation.
thought too. Yeah.
And I obviously Harry Styles, no shocker to anyone, he's a pop artist. Right? He's pop. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's pop. He's pop. So yeah. But anyways, let's get into his single because we're not gonna look at his full album. Maybe we will in the future, but right now we're just gonna look at his single that he released in preparation of the album, which of course the single is Aperture. And so my thoughts on the song is that, of course, I've always recognized that Harry Styles has amazing production. Genuinely, it always hits. Whoever he hires to be his producer, he probably has multiple producers. What am I talking about? Um, they always do an amazing job. And his songs, I always forget the name, but like Watermelon Sugar, like that era of his music,
Oh yeah.
it's like always really good production wise. It's like, yes, okay. And I've always had the hot take where I don't really care for Harry Styles as like a singer too much or like a performer. I just always appreciated his production. And I would even go as far to say he kind of gets carried by it. Maybe that's my hot take of the century. But he does have a style, pun intended, and he sticks to. And that plays into the fact that it is just regular pop, in my opinion. It's not rememberable at all. Like low key, don't really remember what it sounds like, and I listened to it 3 times because it's just a Harry Styles pop song. And so that's why I was kind of shocked to see that as the single. because usually you do the most like not insane, but like most one of the more memorable songs to put as a single because it's marketing for your album. To me, this is just I don't want to listen to the rest of the album because I know that it's just going to be Harry Styles. There were some points where I felt like it got a little experimental, where it was like, oh, like this hook is a little different than what I would think it would be. But then the chorus would kick in. It's like, okay, this is just Harry Styles. It's his style. It's who he is. It's a pop song. Not interested. And I am so very biased in this entire list of opinions that I'm spewing at you because I'm not the target audience. This is not my music. I'm not. I do not listen to pop. I don't listen to Harry Styles. So I don't care for it. That's my entire spiel and the point of my spiel, I should say. So good production, don't care for the pop music. That's kind of my opinion. So sorry for if there was any redundancies throughout there. But Dylan, you listened to the song, correct? And what do you think
Yes.
of it?
I really like the way that you worded that at the end, that you have a lot of bias because you're not the target audience. I agree with that hands down. I just think that was a really good way to word that. I am not the target audience. I have never been a fan of Harry Styles. Um, yeah, his music is just pop. It's just basic to me. But as I was listening to the song, I kind of had a list of bullet points as I was going through it. So initially, I really liked the beat and the introduction to the song, like before he even started singing. I liked that part of it. As he started going and playing a little bit with just kind of almost like the electro sounds, the experimental stuff, the way that he was like auto-tuning his voice a little bit. Probably a lot of people are gonna hate me for this. Literally reminded me of Imagine Dragons. Um, and I think a lot of people they think of Imagine Dragons and they think of Thunder and Believer and they hate it. And I'm not saying Harry Styles sounded like that. Um, one thing I forgot to mention in the first episode is I had a hardcore year-long Imagine Dragons phase in fifth grade. So I have listened to every single thing they've ever released probably 100 times over. And so I actually gave specific examples of which Imagine Dragons songs Aperture reminded me of. I wrote Mouth of the River, Dancing in the Dark, and Burnout. So I just thought that that was really interesting that that's instantly like what my brain thought of was Harry Styles' Imagine Dragons. Overall, the song is just too boring for me. That's not in a negative way. That's not a criticism. That's just the me as a person, this song doesn't have enough going on. I lose focus on it way too easily. The beat was a little odd as the song progressed. It was way, way, way too repetitive, kind of like what Jack said. Every single time he hit the chorus, it was like, okay, man, I've already heard this thing 4 times over. Like, what does he even say? Like, we belong together or something is it felt like a little bit of like a love song to me. Um, It also felt like a bunch of weird mush slapped together, but I do think that it was intentional. I do think that there was an artistic choice behind that, and I also feel like the song felt very emotional. I could imagine Harry put a lot of emotion into the song or tried to put a lot of emotion into the song. Um, so yeah, it really interesting though. I like how Jack said this song does not make him want to listen to the rest of the album because I certainly don't want to listen to the rest of the album. I actually don't ever want to listen to the song ever again. It really just is not, it just really is not my thing. And I think that if somebody likes that song, that is a perfectly good opinion to have because I feel like it's a good song. It's just not for me.
And I will my final anecdote for this song, before we move on to our next segment, is that I feel like it's very safe. And that's why I was so disappointed that it was the single, because in my opinion, the use of a single for marketing is a perfect opportunity to showcase how cool you are. And this is just a safe pop song that I've heard a million times on the radio. And you know what? It's whatever. Like, I completely agree that if somebody likes this song, I would be like, yep, makes sense. It's a very reasonable song to enjoy. But yeah, let's go into our next segment of lyric interpretation. Oh, Dylan, do you have something to say before we move
Yeah,
on?
sorry. I just what you were saying reminded me of Billie Eilish's "When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go?" Or wait, actually, is that the album that hang on. Let me make sure I'm not spewing misinformation. It was so long ago. Yeah, yeah, I think that so technically her intro song isn't even a song. It's just like little sound bites of her and her brother talking and making jokes, which that in and of itself is very experimental. But if we actually look at her first song, Bad Guy, in my opinion, that is one of the best introduction songs to an album ever. Like when this album came out, I was a huge Billie Eilish fan and I really liked Bad Guy. And so many people don't like Bad Guy because of the fact that it's literally two songs smushed in one. Like she finishes Bad Guy and then stops singing and then you're like, "Oh, it's done." And then it's not done. And I feel like I just remember that Bad Guy being like a really just talked about introduction to an album, if that makes any sense. But so that was kind of redundant. So
No, no, that's completely reasonable. But I will say the best opening to an album of all time is "Beware" by Death Grips, excuse me, on their album Ex-Military. Nothing's better than that, except maybe other Death Grips openings. But that's a bad opinion because I'm so biased. Sorry guys, but let's go into lyric interpretation of Harry Styles' song "Aperture." And I would like to go into the first stanza. Uh, Quote from the song: "Drinks go straight to my knees. I'm sold. I'm going on clean. I'm going on clean." I was really interested in "Drinks go straight to my knees." Uh, I, is it that he's like can't walk? Is that what he's saying? That he's unable to walk?
that's that's kind of what I was wondering is if like he gets his knees get all wobbly.
Yeah, and I think that plays into "I'm sold, I'm going on clean," and then he reiterates "I'm going on clean." Maybe that's he's sold on the idea that he needs to stop drinking.
That's
So
exactly, yeah, that's what my interpretation was is yeah, like it's so bad and it affects him so bad that that is motivation enough to try to stop.
yeah, and I think it's interesting to see the song as a love song because maybe he wants to be with this person, but his drinking is an aspect of why the relationship isn't perfect. Um,
Oh, I almost that's okay. Maybe you are more correct because I was almost wondering if he was trying to talk about like his relationship with drinking, like
oh, okay.
personifying that.
That's interesting. Okay, I would have to relook at the lyrics and re-listen to the song
Yeah,
to
me
fully
too.
understand that. But we got to continue on with another stanza. "Go forth, ask questions later, trap doors, you're toying with me, dance halls, another cadence."
What was
It's
that last
very
sentence?
experimental. What?
What was the last sentence?
Trap doors, you're toying with me, dance halls, another cadence.
Okay. See, this is where I am not the person to ask about lyric interpretation because sometimes I genuinely believe that I struggle with like auditory processing and um I feel so bad when artists have very experimental poetic stuff like that because I know that they put so much thought behind it and they are trying to be abstract and I never know what the hell they're saying. That's just a whole bunch of words to me. That's just a whole
Yeah.
bunch of nonsense.
And I feel like you're completely correct for not understanding this set of lyrics because this is very confusing to me. Um, because it's trap doors, you're toying with me. What does that mean?
Yeah,
Is it like
what was the first part of it?
go forth, ask questions later?
Okay. And then he says trapdoors, you're toying with me.
Then dance halls another cadence. So I don't really understand. I guess it's just go forth, ask questions later, maybe take that at face value.
Yeah.
But the trapdoors you're toying with me, maybe it's saying that the relationship, if it's for alcohol or a person, whatever it may be, some sort of relationship that is occurring in Harry Styles' life, he has to traverse this relationship and the person is being very unfair and is setting traps for him to fall into. And that's like trap doors that they placed and they're toying with him. So it's a toxic relationship. And maybe that's why he drinks or something along those lines, where he feels like the relationship is completely unfair to him. And this individual is a mastermind that is trying to either sabotage him or just be cruel to him or whatever it may be. So that's kind of what I get to that. But dance hall's another cadence. Maybe, in my opinion, a dance hall. And if you're talking about a relationship, you're trying to dance with this person romantically, correct? Right? So, and then another cadence is that saying that's actually not what it means? A dance hall, that's something romantic, like a dance hall where you go dance with that person, means something else. It's a different cadence. So there's
Yeah,
layered meaning to this person who is kind of cruel to him. That's kind of what I get from the lyric interpretation.
I think that your interpretation is probably the most accurate because I honestly could not make a lick of meaning out of it no matter how hard I tried. Um, and so going based off of your interpretation, trapdoors, I think is very intentional because he could have just said doors or traps. He said trapdoors. Um, and it kind of makes me think of when people are like, "Oh, opportunities open up, like new doors open up," like that kind of like saying. And then when he says another cadence, to me, yeah, it just sounds like this thing just keeps happening and like it's oh there's another one, oh there's another one, there's another one, and that kind of reminds me of like the cycle of abuse a little bit because it's just the same thing over and over and over again, but it keeps you hooked. So yeah, I really have no idea. I have no idea what this song means.
Who knows? Who knows if I'm correct or if I'm even close? I might be completely off, and he's having a dandy time with the person he's in a relationship with, but we don't know. So that's kind of what I gathered from that. But that was Harry Styles' new single "Aperture" off the album "Kiss All the Time, Disco Occasionally." So whenever Harry Styles drops again, we'll definitely be taking a look at maybe a full album, EP, or just a single again. We'll see what happens with that. But I kind of want to shift over to again on Orb's radar. This was directly from Dylan, and so that's pretty fun. One of her favorite artists is Mossback, and 23 is an artist he collabed with for their new single, Ghost Creek Turnpike. And I'm also curious what this title means. Is Ghost Creek a place? And actually, in the lyrics that we're going to interpret, he does bring up an interstate
Mm.
in the lyrics. So that is also interesting. Is I-158 considered Ghost Creek Turnpike? Well, I guess we can discern that later. But Dylan, what do you think the title means exactly? Because I was confused. That struck me when I first read it.
I honestly don't know because again, I just think that the artists I listen to, I've been listening to these guys for like 6 years now. I am so desensitized to song names. I really am. Um, Maybe if it was my first time ever like seeing something like this, I would also be shocked like how Jack was and probably like how most people are. But I have been seeing stupid like weird titles like this for years. I am so desensitized to it that it didn't even cross my mind. Like when I told Jack about the song, I didn't even know what the title was. I had to like go back into my Spotify, double check that I had it right, and then I sent it to him. I do like how you pointed out that yes, he talks about a turnpike and then he goes on to talk about a freeway in the song. And I mean, it kind of follows like just a little bit of a pattern with Mossback's music because sometimes I do think that the titles of his songs sound like a place because he has Ghost Creek Turnpike, then he has one just literally called The Island, and then he has another one that I really love called The Great Dismal Swamp. Like it sounds like a place. Um, and then this one's called Ghostlands. So I guess I don't know what it means, but I wonder if he is following that pattern intentionally, or if it's just how he likes to title music.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. If it like you've stated that point that a lot of your artists probably just write their titles purely on vibes and nothing else, this might be it.
Yes.
But I just think it's interesting that it actually relates to the lyrics. We can get into that, but I would like to share my thoughts on this song.
Okay,
I
I'm
liked
so
it a lot.
excited.
I liked it a lot.
Really?
I was low key bumping to it when I listened to it
Yes.
this morning, and I will say way better than Harry Styles song. I'm sorry if there's any Harry Styles listeners in here. I really don't mean to diss on your man's. No disrespect, but I think this relates to my music taste tenfold compared to Aperture. So yeah, really good. I think their voices complement each other very well. Uh, I don't know which one's which because I don't listen to Mossback, but I did like this song, and I will be probably listening to the full album because I this is great, and this is also a single. Like I said, this is a good use of a single because there's a collab. It's interesting. It's very dynamic. There's lots of different parts of the song that I appreciate. And again, I just love production. I love good production, and this was produced very well. So, congrats to them if they're the producers or whomever was the producer for this track. It's amazing. And the three adjectives that I would use to describe this song is dark, catchy, and edgy. And I say edgy in the best way possible because sometimes being edgy is good. That's how you get the most soul out of a song. And also, whenever I was listening to the song, and this is in my notes that I'm looking at right now, so Dylan. This is the most Dylan song I've ever listened to in my entire life. It's very dark, it's dank, it's bassy. I don't think there's enough electric guitar in there for her taste, so maybe it doesn't match completely, but and the voices very gravelly voices that are dark and harsh to listen to, and that's good. I love harsh music, but it's not like harsh, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
It's just on that path with the lyricism. So uh amazing song, and I appreciate it a lot. So thank you for presenting this to Record Talk and me, because I'll be listening to more. But those are my thoughts.
Do you want to hear my thoughts?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, call this bias, but I adore this song with every single like atom of my being. Um, I love Mossback's voice. Mossback is very good at getting a lot of very throaty, very guttural screams. I'm actually not a fan of that. When Mossback just goes in with just his raw vocals, he's just talking or singing. Genuinely, that man it has a gorgeous voice and in the range that he sings in. And on the same note, 23 is an artist that is very prevalent in the realm of music that I listen to. And he made, I think, like two whole entire albums with Astasha. And I have tried so hard to like it. I have tried so hard to listen to these Astasha songs because I love Astasha. I've tried so hard to like desensitize myself to 23's voice, and I just can't do it. I cannot stand 23's voice. It's nothing personal. I just can't do it. But something about the way that he sings in Ghost Creek Turnpike is different. It's super enjoyable. It melts into Mossback's voice almost seamlessly. It's really, really, really cool how I went into the song almost a little bit disappointed, thinking I would hate the parts that 23 sang, and I almost like didn't even notice that he was singing. Um, so that was really cool to me that I was like, okay, so I don't hate 23's voice. I just hate the way that he happened to use it with Istasha. But anyways, um I apologize for any guitar nerds out there. I really know nothing about guitars or different kinds of them. So I tried to guess here. I think that's a bass guitar in the background. But whatever it is, whatever the little notes that it's plucking along, I really, really like. And as soon as I heard the song, it did not take me very long to realize that I loved it and add it into my playlist. I also really, really love the range that they reach, like the low notes that they reach. And the whole entire song is just filled to the brim with dissonance and a like descending diminished chord, which basically makes me cream my pants. Like that is so beautiful and so amazing. Um, and I think that I would say that I wish diminished chords and dissonance were used in music more, but at the same time, I feel like what makes them so good to me is the rarity. A really good example of a song that I love because of the dissonance is Die by Johnny Goth. And
Oh yes.
I really haven't found a song with such good dissonance like until this one. Something about this one just really, really is I just love. I really like the dreadful feeling that the song leaves. It reminds me of some of Kamara's more recent music, Tonal Dread or Scarlet Teeth. And I know that I've played Tonal Dread for Jack a few times, but I know I sound like a broken record, no pun intended. I love this song. I really love everything about it. I think that, yeah, very bassy, just, yeah, everything about it, it really, really is great. And I'm glad that it came out at a point in time where we can talk about it on the show.
100%. And I'm really happy that it came up right at the perfect time that we were going to record. So, like you said, but yeah, again, I remember you saying that 23 is an artist that you don't really care for. So it's good that he behaved well this time, and hopefully, he makes better music. So no offense, I think he was great, and I have no opinion really on him. But let's get into the lyric interpretation, okay? Crush me to dust, growing wary of this form anyways, just a blank shell waiting for the world to decay. Very edgy, very
Yeah,
edgy,
yes.
very nihilistic, some would say. And you know who has great nihilistic music? Have a Nice Life on their album
Yeah.
Death Consciousness. Shout out. But anyways, so I don't think there's really much interpretation. I like this lyric, growing wary of this form anyways, just a blank shell waiting for the world to decay. I love when artists make themselves out to be like beings and like almost an idea. Like to me, they're not even like a human being. It's just them as a person is an idea and they're living in this world that is
Mhm.
decaying in this sense. So I love this lyric. These lyrics, I think it's really good. But I don't know how you think about this. I don't are you I know I'm not much of a lyric person. Like I do not care if I can hear or understand the person. Their voices are just another instrument to me.
Yeah.
Are you a lyric person? I always forget.
No, I am not a lyric person in any way, shape, or form. If lyrics happen to be really, really good, I will like them, but I couldn't even tell you a single lyric from this song off the top of my head, and I've listened to it probably 10 times, which just proves how much of a lyric person that I'm not. And also, I feel like it kind of goes without saying, like I've admitted that I had a huge K-pop phase, and part of that is that you don't know what the hell they're talking about. You have to be able to enjoy the music without knowing what they're talking about. So,
Yeah.
yeah, and in terms of this lyric specifically, I really, really like that it's artistic and it's poetic, but just basic enough so that you know exactly what he's saying. You know what it means. It doesn't take very long to understand what he's saying, but he also, it's not just like, oh, I'm having a hard time in life and I want the world to end. Like he still made it kind of, I mean, artistic in a way.
Yeah. 100%. And this next one is interesting. In the millions lining up with hopes to be saved, prayers from a rest stop bathroom off of 158. Oh, well. I think this is a direct shot at religion, organized religion.
Yes.
And I think either Mosback or 23, both of them, whoever wrote these lyrics, they are calling people who are religious and hope to be saved by like Jesus Christ or whatever it is, foolish, because they say, or whomever says this, prayers from a rest stop bathroom off of this highway. I think what does that mean to you exactly? I have kind of an idea, but what do you think?
Um, I I feel like I just have a very basic understanding of it that yeah, he's dissing on religion. I think he's trying to explain that like you're praying and you're doing this thing and you're trying to give yourself hope and it's all fake. Like it's meaningless. It's not going to do anything for you. And one thing I really, really love about the artists that I listen to being so present is a lot of what they write about is on current events. Sometimes it gets really political, and I think that I really enjoy being able to listen to a song and being like, "Oh yeah, they're talking about such and such that just happened 3 weeks ago." I'm not saying this is what that is exactly, but I mean, considering like it was released last Friday, so
I always wonder if that dates a song heavily. I guess it's completely dependent on how they do it. Um, but I think sometimes, like, if there's a song from COVID and they're talking about COVID, like quarantine, I'm like, oh man, like I
mm,
feel weird, like listening to
yeah.
this right now. Like, I don't know. That's just how I think. But let's get into the last set of lyrics before we move on to our next segment.
Well, but
Segment,
what
excuse me.
you said that you had like in
Oh,
you had a meaning of it.
I completely forgot about that. Um, I think the sentence prayers from a rest stop bathroom, I think he's kind of making fun of them, like religious people who want to be saved, saying I can do this from a bathroom. Like this is
Oh,
meaningless.
okay.
There's no real
I see.
organization to it where like you have a facade that it's important when it's not. Like I can just do this literally anywhere. It doesn't matter. But maybe that's not what it means. I think I'm taking that at a very just very face value, and I don't know. But let's get into the next one. Um, the stars they seem to shake, no slight when my hands are tied. I saw them die by the sword that they stand behind.
Ooh, that is a very good lyric. I really like
Yeah,
that.
what's your interpretation of it?
I really like how he worded that. I saw them die by the sword that they stand behind. I feel like that could be, I feel like that can be up for interpretation. I feel like a lot of people can hear that and like it in their own way, and that in and of itself makes it meaningful. I feel like you could look at it politically, you could look at it religiously, you could look at it interpersonally, just with something happening to you and you only. That yeah, a lot of people are very ignorant and hypocritical, and they support things that inevitably hurt them.
Yeah, I think if because your point of maybe this artist is talking about something recent, maybe. I think this is in regards to Trump,
Yeah.
maybe, and Trump supporters,
That's
maybe.
kind of that's what I was thinking too.
Yeah, and so maybe it's that. We don't have to get into that entirely. We have whole other shows where we get
Oh
political.
yeah, no, this episode's gonna be long, but I'm excited.
Yes, so that's really interesting. But those are our two songs on our Orbs. Sorry, I'm forgetting. The Orbs Radar, excuse me. Sorry. New segment, guys.
Hey,
Working out stuff.
Orbit's kind of a cool little.
And maybe we'll change it to Orbs Orbit. Who knows? But we're gonna get away from music releases, but we're gonna be looking at some beef. Who doesn't love music beef? It's so interesting to me. We got NLE Choppa and Blueface beef.